sure, maybe the writing's on the wall already, but 3 games left, a lot of implications, especially with the draft. But Ficky, man, it's been a few days since that Cleveland Browns game. Obviously better than, the last time Justin Fields went to Cleveland. But all in all, we kind of reacted live after the game. I want to take a moment, first of all. It's been a few days. How are you feeling, man? Are you a little bit better? Same?
I mean, you always feel better, because time heals. I mean, the days go by and you kind of forget about the game you watched. But, I mean, I'm not going to say I feel, great, because that was the first game, at least for me, where I was like, damn, Fields didn't check the box, right? And so then this was the first time, which we'll get to, talking about, what side we're leaning, where, I feel like I used to be totally Fields, and maybe I'm slipping just a little bit more towards the other side. I don't know. I don't really, I think we're at a position where it's I don't know what we need to do and what's going to happen. So it's kind of I guess I'm more chill that the game's over, but my anxiety for what the future's going to be is still through the roof. But how are you feeling after that debacle in Cleveland?
Honestly, I've been waiting to kind of get back on the pod because I feel like after the game I was pretty harsh on Justin. And after watching, the tape all 22, I got a chance to watch that over. It's still terrible, absolutely terrible. But it makes me feel a little bit better that he did not get a lot of help. We know about the drops. We know about Mooney and that, connection not being as strong as we thought it would be. But I feel a little bit better just because obviously Justin still he didn't play great. But at the same time, there's other factors that obviously, which is a bad thing too, because you would like in year 3 for these things to kind of be cleaned up. But Luke Getsy, his play calling, and we're going to get to a graphic here about his play calling and where that ranks, within the NFL. But all in all, I feel better than I did on Sunday after that win because I had such high expectations for Justin and for the offense. I thought, obviously, the best defense in the league. You can arguably say that for Cleveland, even though they were missing, some pieces. They showed the depth. They showed why they are so good. So for me, overall, I feel better. But I mean, we're going to get to a graphic here as well about the 1-score games and how if the Bears kind of flipped it, where would it be? So, but I want to start here with Justin Fields and the quarterback. We forgot to do it on Sunday, but our QB meter. So I'm going to start off hot. Justin Fields or drafting a quarterback. So I want to know where you lean right now with Justin. So basically 1 through 10, how confident are you in with Justin? And does that mean you would maybe lean towards Caleb Williams? Because I've seen I think you had an eyeball tweet today with Adam Hogue. At least I saw it.
It was a
great ball.
Pass. Yeah, it was a great ball.
And for our viewers here, it was back in USC or back in OU Oklahoma days for Caleb Williams, and it was against the Texas Longhorns. That rivalry over there, one of the best in college football. But it was a dime, right side of the. It was what? You go ahead and explain it.
It was 3rd and 19. It was first. I think this was his first game as a freshman. So he comes in. They end up in a 3rd and 19 situation. He drops back, kind of steps forward in the pocket, and then rolls out, steps forward, and slings a dot to Marvin Mims, who's now in the NFL and also on my Madden franchise team, but throws a back shoulder 50-yard bomb. The velocity on the ball was crazy, and then it was a touchdown. So, I mean, look. Fields had great plays in college too. That doesn't mean oh my gosh, I'm off of Fields. But I mean, I hadn't seen that play, and that's because it was probably 3 years old. But woo,
right.
That was a beauty.
You explained it very well, but I'm going to go ahead and bring it up for our YouTube viewers here. I believe you have it. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, right there. Yeah. I can't.
It was a beautiful Hogue, but this is the play that we're talking about. A couple of years ago, 2021? Oh, I'm not even showing it, am I?
No, I got you. I think we're pulled up now.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
So here we go. As he drops back, steps up in the pocket, right at the line of scrimmage, throws it 50 yards back over the shoulder, corner end zone pylon.
That angle doesn't do it justice. It's this other angle here.
That
is just ridiculous.
Crazy.
I'll fast forward it too.
Yeah, no. I mean, it's a beautiful throw, bro. To have a play like that.
Here we go.
I'll say this, and I don't think Fields has made a play like this with his arm. That's not true. He had that one. who's not on the team anymore? Who was wide receiver?
Dante Pettis?
Dante Pettis. The one to Dante
I know what
Pettis,
you're talking about.
I think that was last year. Oh, those plays were similar. So it's not to say that Fields can't make that throw. That wasn't the point of that. It was just like, so this will answer your question. Let me say this.
Okay.
We're going to go back to the meter. One means we're going to draft Caleb. Okay. 10 means we're going to stick with Fields and build around. I have been more in the 5 to 10 area, right? Like I've very been pro Fields and build around, and I still think I am.
Okay.
I think though, if I was at like an 8 or 9, I think I might be more of a 7 now. And why? And I say that because I think I'm getting convinced more and more that Fields is not going to be on the team, which is not necessarily what I want. And so I think I'm like getting myself mentally prepared to be like, this is what's going to happen. And the good thing about that is we're in a position where the other option, you see plays like this, right? Like this is a good quarterback. Doesn't mean he's going to be good in the NFL. Like, again, we talk about this all the time. That's the risk. You know what Fields is. You think you know what Caleb is. You're rolling the dice on each one for what their ceiling is going to be. So I guess it's more of just a mind trick for me to be like, okay, well, first off, the game that Fields just played in Cleveland wasn't the best, so it had to drop down, right? Like you can't 163 yards or something. You're under 200 yards. I'm not going to feel that confident, right? Unless you have like 150 with your legs, and he didn't do that. So because of the bad outing, even though it was a good defensive team and he didn't get help from his wide receivers or some play calling, it all goes into it. I think I've slipped maybe a point or two. But I still think if we're talking about a value perspective, and this, I'm not a scout, so I don't know that. But from what I know, from what I've seen, you know what Fields is, what you can get in return for trading that first would be a boatload. And so I would also be very excited about that. But at the end of the day, Ryan Poles knows, his scouts know, if they're like, yo, if Caleb equals Fields, like skill level, like even right now, you got to take a risk on Caleb because you also get the new contract reset. So if you're going to get the same level or very close, like if they pan out to be the exact same, you bought yourself an extra $40 million in assets because you have a rookie contract now and you don't have to worry about paying Fields. So I think like I'm factoring all this stuff from a GM perspective, and I'm like, okay, maybe it's going to happen. So maybe I need to like start to get on board with it. But I don't know.
You know what's funny?
I don't know, man. It's tough.
I forgot. So prior to the show, I was like, let's try to limit our Caleb Williams, Justin Fields talk, and somehow, some way, I forgot about the QB emitter, of course, but that we're going to discuss it once again. But I agree with you for the most part. I know Caleb. Like I said, I watched a lot of tape on him actually this week. I've seen his highlights. I've seen it, but like I've actually kind of dove in, and I tweeted this earlier. I said I wanted to go ahead and give him his flowers because he is a great football player, like a very good quarterback, if not great at that college level. And his arm is what I've heard about it, and I've seen some of the plays, but like really watching it in depthly, a lot of different angles, and a lot of different circumstances, like that OU game. On top of that, he's had just some crazy throws that I'm like, I know Justin has a great arm, and I'm like, I'm not sure on some of these that Justin, not that he wouldn't be able to make the throw, but that he would see it. Is that, if that makes sense? Yeah. Just because Caleb, when he has the ability to kind of scramble, but his eyes are really always down the field and looking to pass first. Yeah. Justin, I just don't feel like had that in college. And I'm not saying that means Caleb's the better prospect. We can get into that huge debate because Justin had a great collegiate career, and we have no idea if Caleb is going to be able to translate that to the NFL level. Justin, we know it's a known commodity what he can do in this league. And I still don't think we've seen the best of Justin Fields. And I think that's fair to say just because he's still super, super young. He's in year 3. It's been very inconsistent. How much of the Bears, chaos around him has really hindered his growth. And so for me, I really don't want to get into it, but I think 10 was keeping Fields, right? And 1 was, draft a quarterback. I'm still at that 6.5, 7 keeping Fields. And that might feel like a lot, especially how I felt after Sunday, because I think it was a huge opportunity for Justin to really make a point to overcome all these deficiencies. Again, the play caller, something we'll get into about Luke Getsy later with this graph. But I think Justin he deserves, I don't think you need to give up on that, just because if you do trade the pick again, you are going to get so much better as far as a roster building. And I feel like Poles, he understands that. But at the same time, Justin's not his guy. We know. So I'm going to stay about 6.5 on that scale. These last 3 games, I know like some people are even talking about losing out or just draft. It doesn't really matter anymore.
No way that's happening.
I feel like these 3 games still matter, even though this Cardinals matchup, which is, I think they have the worst defense in the NFL, according to PFF.
It's pretty bad.
If he throws for another 160 yards against them, then it's time to really have that conversation. So, but I want to get to, I guess we'll move on. Well, that's all our draft talk, Caleb Williams versus, Justin Fields. But I want to move on to an interview here, Ficky. I haven't seen it all. I think it airs it's airing right now. And it's on, let me see.
I think it's NB. Is it? NBC?
You know which one I'm talking about already.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
We're so in sync.
With the lady
it's with Caitlin Sharkey on WGN TV. I'm just going to play a quick little snippet of it because I wanted to talk about, 1, the demeanor, and then 2, what Justin actually said. It's a 9-second clip, but I just thought it was very somewhat telling of kind of where he feels right now as far as just everything going on around him. 3 games left, and him understanding that, hey, it's very possible he's not here next year. So thoughtful, reflective. Again, this is Caitlin Sharkey. It's actually airs at 10:30 tonight. Holy shit. That's late. That's really late. But let me pull it up. Again, not too big of a clip, not too long of a clip.
End up, whether it's here or somebody else, somewhere else next year, just know that, I've given it my all. Wherever I end up, whether it's here or somebody else, somewhere else next year, just know that, I've given it my all. Wherever.
So right there.
I mean, yeah, it's realistic. I think everyone knows. It's like,
yeah.
I think
everything he's dealt with. Everything he's dealt with. For me, I guess I'll go first, Vic. I'm just going to interrupt you. But
no, you're fine.
I really feel like just his demeanor. I almost feel bad because like the media, some fans, what he's had to go through. And I know it's not terrible. He's a professional athlete making millions of dollars, but it's like, man, it kind of hurts the soul a little bit knowing that he might not be here, might be not be in a Bears uniform, be somewhere else. And he's done his absolute best, and he is a professional athlete. So results at the end of the day, it's a business. I get it, but it's like, I almost feel like his demeanor here is he's really just whatever happens. And for me, I'm like, it's tough to hear, but the reality really is setting in because 3 games left, then everything is on the table, as far as like what the future really holds for him. But what are your thoughts on just Justin here and your overall thoughts? I know it's 9 seconds, but
yeah, I was gonna say that was the first thing I was gonna say. 9 seconds, very hard to tell. You know what I mean? Definitely,
it's a good tease
conversation. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. They know what they're doing. Let's be real. I don't blame them one bit for that. But I just think that he hasn't been in a favorable situation, but he still has to show that he is the guy. I think he's just being realistic, right? Like, hey, look. He's improved. He's done the best he can, whatever, right? I think that's fair. And I think he knows deep down whether he plays here or plays somewhere else, he's starting. Like, I think there's a little bit of like,
that confidence that you can see that.
Yeah. This isn't a Mitch situation where Mitch is not, you didn't get his contract picked up, and Mitch is like, I don't know if I'm going to start somewhere.
I mean, he was fine. Yeah, Mitch seemed like he was fine to have that backup role just to stay in the league.
The writing was on the wall. Right, the writing was on the wall for him. He's like, I know I haven't played well enough. Fields, on the other hand, there are so many teams out there that would pick him up, 100%, and he would start. He would get at least a full year to start. I don't doubt that one bit. So I think his demeanor and how he answers questions are a little bit different because he does have that safety net of knowing like, nah, I know I'm not a Mac Jones. I know I'm not a Zach Wilson. I know I'm not a Trey Lance. You know what I mean? So I think he's in the Trevor Lawrence type of ordeal, but the Jaguars don't have a first overall pick, right? That's what it goes to. This conversation does not happen if we do not have that number 1 or number 2. I'll say that, which we're going to have one of those. Like, it's almost impossible. We won't have one of those. So he's just in a weird predicament. The fact that the Bears are in this situation is also weird because I don't think we've ever had a first round pick until like in NFL history. We never had an overall number one. And now we have it back to back, which is wild. And not only do we have it back to back, we have it back to back with a quarterback that's not playing like garbage, right? There's these discussions because you could be like, oh, we could keep him because he plays good enough at times. And then there's other times you're like, we could get rid of him. Normally, when teams are in this situation, you're like the Texans before CJ Stroud. When was it Davis Mills? You knew Davis Mills wasn't your guy. You go get Davis Mills. You look at the Panthers. Man. Panthers don't have a quarterback at all. They had the Baker Mayfield. What's his name from
Sam Darnold?
Used to be on the Jets. Yeah, Darnold. Yep. So they had to get a quarterback. So they had to move up.
Dude, the
We're
Jets
not in that position.
That's tough. Sam Darnold and then Zach Wilson. Like, damn, that is a tough.
Yeah, they're just not. And then four plays of Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that's Jets luck over there. But that's my point, though. We're in such a unique situation where I know I might be smiling too much, but it's like either way, I will feel confident and comfortable that like, I think we're gonna be okay. Like I think I saw a comment here which I already shared. I want to see if I can find it again. Oh, here it is. It was from King Buka World, and I'll put it back up here. He said. I'm behind whatever Poles does. I would like to keep JF1 because he has been behind the 8 ball since day one, but I'm a Bears fan. I back the team. That's what we talked about last, at the post game. Like either way, we feel comfortable that we will be either if it's Caleb Williams or Justin Fields in the draft picks we get, this team is still going to get better and it's going to get better, right? Poles has showed so far that he's been able to draft some quality dudes and bring in some quality free agents. Now, I want to bring up a tweet I think I shared in our group chat. Was that yesterday maybe? Maybe been today. But it was out of the past 20 years, right? In the 21st century, how many draft picks have made it that have been picked by the Chicago Bears have made it to their second contract?
Yeah.
4. I think it was 4 or 5, bro. Our boy Kyle Long has been on the show. Appreciate it. Kyle Fuller, who's a dog. I think there was a couple before that, like early
Urlacher 2000.
Urlacher. Yeah, some early ones, but that's not a good hitting rate. You know what I mean? That's not good. Like now we have Cole Kmet, which is good. We could get Jalen Johnson, right? I'm assuming when Kyler, when he gets to it, that'll be a second one. So like I think Eddie Jackson. I feel like he should have. Oh, these were first round picks. My bad. First round picks. So that's why,
because you could look at, Roquan is potentially one of them, but he's not on the Bears.
Right. And that's the point, though. We haven't had first round picks,
but he was worthy no matter how you felt about
absolutely.
Roquan and how that situation. Like, if anybody, he should count.
Absolutely. But my point is, those like for the first time in a while, Pace didn't even have first round picks. First off, trade them all the time. Right. And then the ones he picked normally didn't hit. So the fact is that like we have confidence in Poles. I don't care if we go the Caleb. I'm at the point where I don't care if we go Caleb. I don't care if we go Justin. I just want this team to win.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe a couple months ago I was like, oh, Fields. And that's, as a fan, I still kind of want that, but I'm getting more to the middle ground. Like whatever it takes to get us to be, to beat the Packers twice a year. You know what I mean? To win the NFC North, to make the playoffs. I don't care at this point. So sorry for the little rant there, but we're just in a weird situation.
Yeah. What I'm going to do here is we're going to go over a graph here, but while we're doing that, if you guys have any questions, whether it's on YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, however it is, throw them in the chat. We're going to go ahead and get them starred. And we're just going to have a little segment here where we're just going to kind of talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. So throw any question, doesn't matter what it is. Obviously Bears related if you can. Keep it that way. We're not doing movie reviews or some shit like that, but throw it in the chat. We're going to go ahead and talk about it. We'll start here with Brenton Stewart. In your honest opinion, do you guys actually think we get a first or second round pick for Justin? I'm going to start with this, Ficky, because we talked about on our last pod. No, 2 pods ago when we had Rob Schmitz and Nick Whalen from the Bear With Us pod. It was a little crossover podcast. So check it out if you really want to talk about Caleb Williams and all those quarterbacks. That was a great episode. But there was I think an article on yahoo.com about 7 different GMs talked about the trade value that Justin Fields is currently at and what they're comfortable with as far as giving up. And almost every single one, second round pick, maybe an additional third-round pick with some contingencies to maybe move to another second or something along those lines. But typically the answer was about a second or third-round pick, and it really depended if he had a strong finish to the year. And that Cleveland game doesn't help his case, but I still think we're levitating or at least around that second-round pick value. And before I kind of ask your feelings on Ficky, I think that actually could get to a first-round pick. Now, don't clip that, but the reason being is because leverage, if they hold this thing all the way until like the draft, which they didn't do last year because they traded on March 11th. I was doing an article on this and it'll be out tomorrow, but March 11th last year is when they traded it, about more than a month away from the draft. So they knew right away, probably early, there was already reports that they were trying to trade the pick. So this year it's like, if they wait until April 29th, whenever the draft is in 2024, I think that leverage, I think there's going to be a team because first of all, the coaching, there's going to be like 9 openings. So new coaching staff. Atlanta is obviously going to be a favorite. If you know that you can't get a quarterback, you can't get one of the top quarterbacks in the draft. I know there's a lot of them, but 2, maybe 3 are 3 or 4, maybe first rounders, depending with McCarthy and how you feel about him.
Yeah, you're definitely getting 3 with a Jaden.
Yeah.
There, so.
But anyways, my point is I feel like the longer you wait until draft day, a team may get desperate and maybe, depending how Justin Fields finishes his last 3 games and his stats and everything like that, and the coaching and the fit, because you think Arizona or you think Atlanta, that's a really good fit. Not just because of the homecoming, but just because of the coaching, the scheme. But if other teams think that Justin and his skill set, and they can kind of make an offense and tailor around him, like the Bears, and maybe do a better job than what Luke Getsy and company have done, I really do believe that there's a possibility where you could maybe get a first rounder. I know it's very unlikely, but I just think if you wait, there is that possibility at least rises a little bit. So how are you feeling? I'm sure you feel similar to like a second round with all the other GMs.
Yeah, I think realistically we'll get a second, right? Okay. I think that's what it is, and I think I agree with you. I think we're gonna hold on until like as late as possible. So, which is gonna
suck, man.
Oh my God, you think that, bro? We're talking about it now. This back in Caleb versus Fields. This is gonna go on for months, bro. So sorry to our viewers. I mean, you guys have to deal with it too, as like we do. But oh my goodness,
we're gonna have we're gonna have like 1,000 mock drafts.
Yeah, facts, bro.
On this show.
So I think realistically it's gonna be a second rounder, but you never know with the NFL because at the end of the day, right? It's a buyer and seller league. If someone wants it, they'll do it. We've seen trades that are out the wazoo, and you're like, what? They gave a haul for what, right? And so there might, if there is a team out there that is going to do that, there possibly could be, but there's so many factors we don't know that, right? And so I'm gonna say, like, if you're looking just straight at value and not overbuying to go get your person, I would say second, right? Second and a fourth or something like that. Probably most likely, probably like 2 picks or like a second and a third day type of ordeal, or like 2/3, right? I could see something like that. And then if we get a first, I'll take, like, you get a first and you get a draft Caleb. That's crazy. Like, that is, if I'm going to lose Fields, I won't be as disappointed to lose him that way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But like, the same can be said as like you're trading a quarterback that is worth a first round pick in some eyes.
Right. But the question is he really worth it? Or someone just,
no, I don't think. I think right now, just because I wanted to go over these stats real quick. I was going over his basically talking about growth, right, since his rookie year, and it's hard to kind of it kind of gets stagnant. I'll go quickly because I know we have quite a few questions to get to, Ficky. But this is from year 1, his rookie season, 58.9 completions percentage. That went up to 60.4 in year 2, and then this year he's at 61.4. Passing touchdowns to interception ratio, his rookie year was 7-10. And last year it was 17-11. This year it's 14-8. Passer rating, 73.2 his rookie season. Last year was 85.2, and right now 85.6. So for me, it's like there has been growth, but it's not enough for me to be like, yeah, that's like almost enough to be like, yeah, I'm going to pass once again on a quarterback. for me, I would continue to build through the draft, and there's a lot of holes on this roster, as we know. Probably a little bit more than we thought heading into the year. So for me, I just thought it was interesting to see he has steadily grown. However, it is kind of with the injuries and everything, it is interesting. So, but what other questions we got, Fick?
Yeah. And just to respond to that. Yeah. He's improved every year. We've talked about that, but it's not at the rate that you want or the rate of.
I wonder if we not overhyped, but maybe miscalculated how much help he got this past offseason, because DJ Moore is great. But I think then you bring in DJ Moore, who is a true number one. But it's like, did we see this regression with Mooney coming? I didn't.
No.
So it's like you lose Mooney, who was damn near borderline. We thought, maybe a 1B, or at least a very, very good 2. And now he's like, what, a 3, 4, type player. And it's like
numbers show like 4, but he's off an injury. I think realistically he's a 3.
But I thought bringing in DJ Moore, and now you got the rise of Cole Kmet, you just think he would be able to, thrive off of less attention, because he was getting game planned last year, because we talked about it, Dante Pettis, number 2, you could argue number 2 receiver last year with, St. Brown and N'Keal Harry and everything like that. So
crazy.
Fun question. But what other questions?
Well, our second one here is from Ralph V on YouTube. Said, what would Justin be like with an awesome new OC? And are you drafting Harrison Jr., Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brock Bowers, tight end from Georgia? So let me answer the back two, because I think it's a little bit easier. Yes, if you have a chance to draft Marvin Harrison Jr., you do it. I think everyone's on board with that. He's probably the best prospect in this draft, like better even than the quarterbacks. Brock Bowers, though, that's an interesting one. If you really want to double down on offense, because he is a different tight end than Cole Kmet. Cole Kmet is a great inline tight end. He's not a big separator, like wide receiver type. No disrespect to him. He's a big dude as well, right? He catches the ball and he blocks well. So I am happy about the extension. But Brock Bowers would be a different type of tight end. That's more of your Travis Kelce type tight end. Not saying he is Travis Kelce, but like how Travis Kelce is as a weapon, as a wide receiver. I mean, as a playmaker, you're going to get more of that with Brock Bowers. So you could literally run a whole bunch of 12 sets, right? And you can't stop them both. Kind of reminds you of like what they had in Patriots back with Gronk and ex-Con. You know what I mean? So like that would be an awesome offense. So I would be with that. Now, the first question was, what would Justin be with the awesome new OC? We don't know. We don't know. Yeah. Like you would think the new OC would make them better and thrive, but it also depends on what's the system.
Can you bring that question up again, Ficky?
Yeah,
I lost it. But
no, you're good.
Did it say what would Justin be like with an awesome new OC? So for me, I think right there, not even the new factor, because obviously it's going to be bringing in someone new won't change anything if they aren't awesome, like he just alluded to. So the biggest question, or the most important case, is he's awesome. That he can basically craft a game plan around Justin Fields and his skill set, around the players that polls might bring in. Say you bring in Harrison Jr., which first of all, any offensive game plan is going to look a lot better with that type of player. It's like a Justin Jefferson. Like, you're going to get him the ball, good things happen. Simple. Call the good plays, the plays that work, get it to him. And then Brock Bowers, for me, it's like, man, if they double dipped on offense like that, that'd be fucking crazy, because like we haven't seen that in a while. And I think right then and there, expectations would just rise, because the defense right now, you're going to bring in some free agents, probably a couple vets, maybe another edge rusher like a Chase Young. Eddie Jackson, I know he said he wanted to stay in Chicago and he loves it. I just don't know if that makes sense, really, or if that's going to happen. So safety, you either draft maybe in the second, third round. I don't even know if we have a third round pick. Anyways.
No, we don't have a second. We have a third.
We have a second. Okay. Yeah. Anyways, the defense is going to be good next year. It's going to be either just as good, if not better, more than likely, hopefully better, because they're going to add some pieces. But you draft offense like that, first of all, training camps can be fucking awesome. And Justin, he's going to thrive. He's going to get better just because of progression. He's a smart player. There's flaws, but it's like he's going to get better. He's not like Mitch, where it's like I think we kind of hit that ceiling. I don't think we've hit that with Justin. I believe we are still yet to see his best football, and a new OC, more help around him, consistency, meaning, maybe not even if you bring Luke Getsy back, that's kind of like a win because consistency. Otherwise, you go the Jay Cutler route. I've heard people talk about that all the time as far as OC, new OC every other year. Look at Justin Herbert, though. I mean, he's still balling for the most part, and he's had a new OC or new head coach.
New head coach like four times.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
So all in all, I don't know if they go and double dip like that. I think they might go offensive, or it might go like edge rusher. Maybe with that second pick. Either way, if they keep Justin Fields, you get Marvin Harrison Jr. and you do not let that guy slip. Like, I don't care. I would not be mad if it was first overall and they went, fuck, we can't trade it. We're not going to get what we want, or we just can't find a partner, and you go Marvin Harrison Jr. Sure,
there's no way
trade back.
There's no way that happens though, bro.
It'd be crazy. But maybe trade back to 2 would be fine. But
that could happen. That could happen. Trade back to 2, then draft Marvin. I can see that. But number 1, Marvin, that'd be crazy. Because that number 1 pick, I don't care. There's so many calls for that pick. Like, once the season ends and that's locked in, Ryan Poles is gonna have the biggest grin on his fucking face because he's gonna have caller galore, bro. Like, people are gonna be, his phone is not gonna stop ringing, bro. Late night.
Well, it's gonna be a
number 1 pick.
It's gonna be a repeat, dude. It's gonna be a repeat. That's funny of last year, man. So right now the Panthers are just 1 game ahead, which is just not. It's way too close for comfort. I mean, Arizona here. That's why it's like, if the Bears beat Arizona this week, it's like, all right. Like, I don't want that to happen just because I want to see the Bears win. It's fun, but right now they're sitting with the first pick and the 5th pick in the NFL draft. So 2 top 5
I know,
picks.
but like, those are still good. We're not going to get top. We win the next 3 out, we're still probably going to be top 10. So, and then the number 1 pick, I think is going to be number
weird.
1. We're at 82%. We're at 82% right now. So I think we're pretty set, bro. I don't see the Panthers winning another game.
That shit was at 90. That shit was at 95 like 2 weeks ago. I need that. I need that for my comfort.
Yeah, no.
Anyways, let's get another question here.
Okay, so this one is just a quick one, and maybe it could be our little break here. But Drew said, will this be uploaded as a pod on Spotify? Yes, it will. It is on Spotify. It is on Apple. You can catch us on YouTube. Also, now we're on Twitter. So both Dave and I's profile and the BFR_pod on Twitter. And then obviously it's just the BFR pod on Apple and
the
Spotify.
Sports Mockery. It's everywhere on Twitter.
It's on Sports Mockery as well, which the podcast is sponsored by and what Dave writes for, sportsmockery.com. But yeah, you can find us everywhere. Like, if you type it in, you'll be able to find us. Instagram as well. We're at TikTok. We're all over the internets. So if you are appreciating the show though in the pregame, please give a thumbs up. We really do appreciate. Give us a like. We see tons of comments in here. Keep commenting away. We love that as well. And if you enjoy our stuff and you don't want to miss our post-game show, which we do, which is always hella fun, and you want to hear the voicemails that we've been doing, which are fire, then make sure to go ahead and hit the notification bell in your top right. And then I think you can select all. So then when we go live, you get a notification right there and you can hop in and make sure you don't miss a beat. So appreciate all the support that you guys have shown so far. And also, if you're new, if this is your first time catching us, drop in #NewFaceGang in the comments. We'll make sure to share those before the show ends. And then also, if you're an OG and you've been following us for a minute, drop a #OG in the comments as well. All right, we're gonna move on to the next question here. This is we got a Packers fan in here. I know this guy. This is my boy Blake, but he said, "Will the Bears win the division in the next 5 years?" But do you think they can do it?
I would hope.
You think so? Look, yeah, but
what do you mean you think so,
bro? All I'm saying is this: we haven't. Well, let's see. We did win one in 2018.
2018.
Then before. Yeah,
we're due.
So that's 4 years, right?
It's 5 years.
It's 5 years. Then when was the last time we won in 2018? Like our gaps
it's been 5 years. So you're telling me we're going 10 years to win the division?
No, I'm saying before 2018 though. I think it was like 10 years.
Well, fuck.
It was.
I can't do another 5 years without winning a division.
No. Cutler won one in like 12, I think. So it's been like 6 years, 5 years. So do we have to wait another? So
we're due.
So maybe next year.
Well, no. Here's the thing, though. But it's about how you're set up, though. You're set up a young core and now you have all this money. You could have even more draft capital. So yeah, the goal is at least, at the very minimum, win it within the next 2 years.
No,
Otherwise,
I agree. And I don't want the 1 year. I don't want the outlier stuff. I want what Blake gets to enjoy. Well, maybe not now, but consistent. Maybe you don't get it every year, which is fine. It's the NFL. But out of 5 years, you win the NFC North 3 times. You know what I mean? Instead, we get it once every 5 years, twice every 10 years. I don't want that. So, yes, I agree with you, though. Like, if we don't win it in 5 years, Poles is gone. Like, it's like you did not.
We don't win it in 3 years.
Honestly,
that might
we
be
don't
even
win
close.
2. I bet you if we don't, not next year, but the year after that will be year 4.
I would expect the Lions should regress. Jared Goff doesn't scare me. Look what the Bears have done. That defense is going to be better, even better. They have his number. I think you can win next year. The problem is if Caleb is as good, if Caleb is so good, but if he's so good, like everyone says, and I watched the tape, he's very good. But first of all, he needs to come in, and it's going to be tough. Chicago is a big market. I don't care what anybody says. That will take a toll on anybody. I don't care how. Look at Justin, one of the
turn the TVs off.
Mitch. But Justin is one of the most he's a great leader. You hear about him. He's very poised. And he's still, you could see that it's taken a toll on him. Just so you could see it a little bit. He does a really good job hiding it. But it's like Caleb, and you look at Mitch, it's tough. It's tough. It's one of the hardest, I think it's one of the hardest positions in sports as far as just a big market being the quarterback of the Chicago Bears because of the expectations. We've never had any. So you're going into this being like the only hope. Like, we have never seen a 4,000-yard passer. We have no idea. And so there's so much pressure. So for me, it's like they better win within the next 2 years, just because you got a lot of young guys, man. It would be really, really disappointing.
Either way,
but it would be very Bears.
Oh, 100%.
Very Bears. So
100%. That's
we're
my
due.
Point. My thing is, it should happen, but will it happen?
Yeah.
What history shows with this team, who fucking knows? Okay, here's another one. We'll kind of go through these a little bit quicker, but this one's, what's your personal opinions on if you want to keep Justin or not? Thanks, Graham, on Twitter. But we kind of talked about this. Both Dave and I, we want Fields. We want to build around Fields. But we also see the other side of why you would draft someone like Caleb Williams, and we kind of have faith in Ryan Poles. So we're kind of just whatever happens.
And for me, it's like Justin. You have him. You do his 5th-year option. That's $20 million. That's still a bargain. So you get him for two more years, and you trade this one back. You get a bunch of players. You get a Marvin Harrison Jr., like we just mentioned. I think that's the best route, because I know we talk about generational quarterbacks and Caleb Williams. Maybe he can't miss, whatever it might be. 2 years from now, when they have another, they're going to. So if they trade this pick, they're going to have 2 first-rounders next year, and maybe even have another one the following year if they don't get a player, get a player in return. Because last year you essentially got 3. DJ Moore, I think, would classify as at least a late first-round pick. So you could have that capital to either move up. Or just like you did with Carolina, if you trade with a bad team, which you're likely going to do because they're going for a quarterback.
Yeah.
And unless that
maybe not
really
for Caleb, though.
Good,
Yes, to say it sounds like Caleb Williams is pretty good, so maybe not.
So maybe not, but at the same time, I feel like there's going to be another guy. They they don't pump out quarterbacks every year, but I just feel like you'll be able to find one. Or you could trade for one.
Sure.
So
for sure. Okay, this next one was just a little funny one, but should we bring back Ditka to replace Eberflus? And why is the answer yes? I'm going to tell you no, because Ditka would die on the field. That man's like 158 years old. Let him live his life. Watching at home, okay, please. We don't need to see that. We already see a disaster on the field week after week. I don't need to see someone die on the sideline.
This would be a fun time for him to come in, though. Just to be honest,
definitely. Depressed Bears fan with no will to live, which is a funny Twitter. Is that our boy in the group chat? Is that Montana?
No, because he actually has his photo. He has the same exact.
Yeah, it's like
title,
Depressed Bears fan something. Yeah, okay. But funny name. Anyway, Bears trade back. Oh, whoops, that is not a question. But I'll read this comment anyways. Anyway, Bears trade back and get their later QB like Bo Nix, Michael Penix, or Jaden Daniels.
I would be okay with if they went and drafted someone later for an option, or like a security, maybe development. I would be, I wouldn't want it with like a second. I don't know. That's a good
No, I
question.
want it later. I don't want that first. You're not doing I don't want either of your first picks that. Scott C from Iowa on Twitter said, if Bears win out and they need the Panthers to win week 18, do you want the playoffs or the number 1 pick? So basically, in essence, you want playoffs.
We win 3 in a row, and I would love to get in.
It's all about winning. You know what? I agree. I'd rather take playoffs because that number 1 pick is not falling. So it'd probably be like you know what I mean? It'd go to number 2.
Go to 2.
It's not like
Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah, no, I'd rather take 2 in playoffs.
No, I understand though. But I would understand.
Too.
Yeah, I would understand like why you'd want that first pick because then you control the draft. We saw how fun that was last year. But give me the playoffs. I don't know. You don't get a lot of those. At least I haven't experienced a lot of them.
Give me playoffs too. I'm with that. Like you don't get that off them. Okay, so here's another one here from Cut the Bull Junk on Twitter. Says, say Caleb is the QB next season. Should this team be a playoff team or will they underachieve? I don't know what underachieve is because it's so dependent on that quarterback.
I think I think you compete for Caleb coming in. My expectations right away. I don't care. For me, I have nothing's going to change it. Is because this roster is going to be much better. You're got the free agency, the draft, and then you bring in Caleb, wild card. That would be wild card or disappointment. Unless Caleb has a fantastic year and they barely missed the playoffs.
But rookie quarterbacks are tough, bro.
I don't want to hear it, man.
I know, but I'm just saying I mean, it's look. Okay, so Stroud's breaking record. I know he's been injured, but even when Stroud was not injured, I think they were like 6 and 6.
Good question.
You know what I mean? So like, it wasn't like Stroud's doing stuff that's never been done before. And that team was still 500 before he got injured. I don't know the exact record, but it wasn't like they were undefeated or they were 4-2 or something like that. Now we have to your point, Dave, we have a better team set up around. So maybe if you drop Stroud, into our team, so he doesn't have to do as much, but I don't know.
I just think the defense next year, in my honest opinion, is going to be at least top 10 because you're going to add edge rusher. You're going to add more pieces around that. And then you have Brisker, Gordon, Jalen Johnson, who's going to be here. I'd be super shocked and very pissed off if he's not with the Bears next year. These guys, you have the linebacker core that is really coming together, like showing why, okay, early on in the year, Tremaine Edmonds, I was a little worried. Not anymore. He's turning the ball over. He's getting TFLs. And then you got TJ Edwards, who's practically an all-pro linebacker right now, giving his output, it's impressive. So for me, with that defense alone and a rookie quarterback, DJ Moore, whatever else comes in as far as the offense, I just think that they have to at least compete for a wild card. I'm not saying the division, but give me the 7 seed. Let me sneak in, especially with this team. Perhaps this team could probably end up with 7 wins this year. And so unless Caleb is dog shit, I'll be honest, unless he is terrible, there's no reason this Bears team can't win 8 or 9 games next year.
True. So you could possibly, I definitely agree that we'll probably be in the hunt for the whole season.
And I don't want to be like the last team in the hunt either. I want to be like almost at the top of the pack in the hunt, And that would be fun.
Not at the bottom 5 and 8. Yeah. You want to be the 8 and 7 in the hunt. Yeah, or whatever.
And it might be getting greedy, but
no, I feel you. Let's see here there was another one here, which I thought I had ready. Okay. Are you guys here we go. Are you guys worried about the Panthers winning games? I'm not. They haven't scored a touchdown in 2.5 weeks. Yeah, I'm not. They won that one game off a field goal, I think, right? Like, I'm not.
I'm a little worried just because, you never know in the NFL.
Can you pull up while I go through the rest of these? We pull up
their schedule?
Yeah, I just want to know who they play next. I know they play the Packers this week because we have to root for the Packers because we need them to win.
So I know who they play last, which is they played the Jaguars after Green Bay.
Okay.
And I mean, lost. Jacksonville should be playing for something, but then you got the Bucks in week 18.
So that's the last game. Yeah, so that's the
last one.
They want Bucks to lose tonight because tonight it's Bucks versus Saints, and both of them have a chance to win the NFC South still. So if the Saints win tonight, they'll have the upper edge on the Bucs. So that means
And the Bucs will have to play.
Will have to play. Yes.
Yeah.
Which means that they'll beat the Panthers. So, but I think the Bucs are going to beat the Saints tonight. So I don't think
is that game? That game started, right?
Yeah, 8:15-ish, I think.
No.
If someone could give us like a score update on that as well, that'd be much appreciated. But yeah, I think that's all of the questions.
Oh, I have one right here. I have a couple. So first of all, this is Miller. This is Miller on Twitter. He commented. First of all, I said new face gang as well. He said, "What do the Bears do at center next year? An anchor to solidify the O-line would help Fields."
Yeah. So
would you want to draft or would you want to bring in a vet, Vic?
You can do both. But I think the starter is going to be the free agency way. And I think you've mentioned that before in a previous pod, but I think it makes more sense to have a veteran come in under center, especially for the center, because you really have to. There's more growing pains with center because you do more than just blocking. You're basically the quarterback for the offensive line. So I want someone who,
I think it's wise to bring in a vet, like you said, because you have the money, and not just like a Luke, not a Lucas Patrick either. I'm talking like spend a little,
a starter,
get some quality, a starter, and then draft a guy in the third, a day 3 pick that has a lot of potential. Let him hopefully sit behind, 2 guys or 1, and then obviously depth is important because O-line, someone's gonna get hurt throughout the year. Hopefully it's not like, season ending, but it just happens. So I think that would be very, very good just to go ahead and draft one as well. So
yeah, I agree.
But Ficky, I know we have a couple more questions. I'm sure we'll get to those, but I want to bring up this one graph before we get to the Cardinals versus Bears and kind of our predictions and everything like that. But this one I thought was super, super interesting. So the Bears. The graphic I'm about to show is the what if NFL standings graphic, and it's actually brought to you by Kelly Ford Ratings on Twitter. So let me go ahead and bring it on here. Right. Okay. So I guess I can go ahead and.
There you go. Yeah.
We'll make it a little bit bigger. So this is the what if standing. So basically, what if every one possession NFL game had the opposite result? These are the standings right now in the NFL if it was flip-flopped. If each game that was one possession had the opposite result, like I just mentioned. So the Bears, as you can see, they move up 4 spots in the NFC standings. They are 8-6, and they are the 4th seed. That means they're winning the division by a tiebreaker, I believe, with Detroit. I just think that's crazy.
Because that means they had to swept Detroit because the one loss would be a win.
Yeah.
They'd have a win against Denver, which they blew. They'd have another win against who's the one they just blew? Was that Cleveland? That was a 1-possession game. Yeah, Cleveland. This past game. That's a win. Right? So now you got 3 more wins, right? We have 5 now, so that makes sense.
Yeah, they go up 3. They go up 3 in the win column. Yep.
Right. So basically, if we've won by more than 1 possession, right? And then the games we've lost are our blown leads. They're our worst losses. Because the team.
Anyways, this is where we could be talking about right now. As simple as that. And you can even say with Tyson Bagent, like I think that Chargers game might be a little bit different with Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So I think that if Justin never got hurt, this whole entire season is a little bit different too, just with momentum. But I thought it was interesting. San Francisco, still crazy. They're 12-2. They go up they win 1 extra game. They're just
because they blow teams out. Yeah. What are you talking about?
But Baltimore too. Buffalo. It's impressive what the landscape would be, and this entire season would be completely different. And it sucks, man. You have we've already talked about it. You just mentioned those 3 games where we blew those historic type leads. And now we're out of the playoffs already. Well, not officially eliminated, but either way, it is crazy to think that this team could be in an entirely different spot and outlook, draft, everything like that, because winning it changes everything. It also heals. Yeah, it cures everything. So
By the way, I want to correct myself. I said it was I said it was Saints versus Bucks. It's not. It's Rams versus Saints. And the score right now, thank you, Tareen, is Rams 10, Saints 7. So,
yeah,
close game, but appreciate that. But yeah, we need the Saints to win that one.
And the Rams are winning? Is that what you said?
Yeah, by 3. Yeah, so far. So, and then we do have a question here, but it's just want to answer this quick because we actually just showed this. Charles Coors on Facebook said, have you guys seen the Caleb Williams highlight from his college debut at Oklahoma versus Texas? We actually showed that earlier on the show. So Adam Hogue tweeted that out. I think that's the tweet you're referring to. But we actually showed that kind of to start the show just because it was such a remarkable play. So
that was that was nuts. But here's the thing: we saw Justin make some crazy plays in college too. You look at Zach Wilson. I know highlights are fun, but it's like it still does not mean it's going to translate. At the end of the day.
It doesn't. Because if it did, bro, these teams would be hitting on quarterbacks.
And maybe I'm more skeptical than usual, or maybe Bears fans should be more like easy or skeptical and worried about quarterbacks coming to our team, just because we have not developed anybody, ever. So for me, it's like we could have Justin. I said it before. I guess I'm going to stick with it. I thought Justin was the most talented quarterback I've ever seen come to Chicago. I remember when we drafted him. I know he slipped.
Still is.
But it's like, yeah, he still is. I have not seen. I was like 100% positive that we would not fuck him up as far as his development and everything like that. I just thought he was too good. And here we are in year 3 talking about moving on from him. So until we just get our guy, I'm not going to even say anything. So
yeah, I know this conversation is going to be so exhausting for us. But like Charles said, my bad boy. Didn't mean to bring up something from earlier. Jumping in here late. It's all good. We just wanted to.
Oh, you're good, Charles. Absolutely. If you just want to, you can. Like I said, it was first 2 minutes we brought it up. So if you just rewind the pod, and when we even showed it and talked about it, hell of a play. It does get you excited. Like I said, I tweeted this last week. I said if we did draft Caleb Williams, I feel like he would have just as much hype, if not a little bit more, coming to Chicago. Like I would be excited. I really, really would. It would be tough to see Justin leave. I would be a fan of his. I would definitely watch. If he's playing in Atlanta, I'm watching it probably every week. That's a fun game for me. But I guess before we get to the Cardinals Bears, we'll get to our predictions here. We have a couple other things to get to here.
And sorry that we're doing a lot before the Cardinals Bears, but let's be real. These are 2 garbage teams playing each other. There's not much hype and excitement to talk about. These are 2 bottom 5 teams.
No, this is Thursdays are for Q&As, man. Thursdays are for Q&As right now. Bro, when you get to this point in the season, if we were talking like a playoff spot on the line.
Well, that's the thing. Or last week's Thursday, we're like,
that's why it was fun. I felt good, man. It was exciting.
Yeah.
And then we
one
lost,
week to do.
Yeah. So I'm going to bring up another graph here. This is ranking offensive play callers because this kind of gets into Luke Getsy. I alluded to it earlier. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I might as well just keep this like shared. I keep on having to do it. Gonna have to probably bring this one up here. So this graph, who is it? Who made it? It is by, first of all, Patent Analytics. I actually gave him a follow. Let me see here. Right here, I'm going to give him a little love. This is the guy who made the chart. He actually has some amazing, really cool, interesting charts, not just with the offensive coordinators, but he has quarterbacks, he has defensive coordinators, throws in a bunch of data, depending on
either way. Either way works. Yep.
Either way, this is what comes out. It's nice and pretty. It's really fun to look at.
Charts.
I love charts, man. I really do.
They're great.
So here we go. Kyle Shanahan and then Andy Reid. They are at the top. This is after week 15. And they are at the top of the board. Then you have Mike McDaniel, who the Bears did not even interview.
Wait a second. Let's define what the data is. Basically, so this is personal and market efficiency with team constraints. So personnel, not personal. Sorry. So basically, he's saying we're ranking you based off the players you have, how efficient you make those players, while also calculating, I would say, the deficiencies that you may have on your squad. Just want to define it for some people.
Absolutely. And I think we need to bring in Patton too.
Honestly.
Get him on and just because he probably does it a lot better. I'm not even going to try.
Of course.
First of all, Ficky going ahead and I just look at it and I'm like, oh, this is what it means. This is the data. I take it for what it is. And I just look at where are the Bears and holy shit, they're at the bottom. What do you know? So anyways, you have your usuals. Yeah, you have your usuals. You have your well, first of all, I thought it's very interesting to see who was it? Who's the Lions guy?
Ben Johnson. He was positive, net positive, but
right here. That's what I thought was a little interesting. I was like,
well, I think it's because you look at personnel, so maybe they're saying the weight of how good his players are on the squad.
Well, they do have some players.
Right. Oh, yeah, you've got Montgomery, Gibbs.
But look at Kyle Shanahan, who has
yeah, it's true though. But they're stomping people, bro.
Yeah. Then you got Andy Reid, which I think is actually really impressive, given we've seen their receiving core. But they got some good backs. Yeah, they do. So, anyways, but all the way at the bottom, because you got to scroll a little bit. At least I do in this since I've zoomed in. But you got number fourth worst in the NFL is Luke Getsy.
We're below. This is for people, Apple, Spotify. We are below the Panthers and the Jets. The Jets don't even have a quarterback, and the Panthers are the worst team in the league. Just let that sink in.
That pisses me off. Look how first of all, what the fuck is Atlanta doing?
Yo, you know what this is? This is the meme. The Atlanta's at the very bottom, and they're so far over. The meme in the internet right now with Arthur Smith is like, oh, give Bijan the ball? He's like, nah. Think about this, bro. They drafted Bijan that high, and they don't give him touches.
First of all, in our sleeper league, which I'm in the championship game right now.
Okay,
I'm like one of I think every other team. I think 10 or 9 teams basically. We're trying to get the number 1 pick next year. Ficky, that's you. We know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Week 2, he benched everybody. He started trading he's like, hey, Deshaun Watson, all these guys are up for sale. Anyways, long story short, though, Bijan Robinson, I can't. It's bad, but Luke Getsy, this is a testament. This is why I'm like, okay, you bring in someone else, a new OC, you keep Flus. Yeah, Justin is going to be with another offensive coordinator, but whoever it is likely going to be, I would hope, better than Justin Fields or better than Luke Getsy. I'm hoping if we bring in someone else that he can be in that middle of the pack type league. I mean, look at Ben Johnson. You bring him as an OC, which I don't think he'll leave for, like a lateral, position change.
Josina Anderson already put
he's wanting $15 million though.
They'll do it.
Is that that the report you're talking about?
Yeah. But I'm saying he knows his team put that out there for a reason because they know he's going to be.
What was the report again? I interrupted you.
It was basically the report was that there was rumors or talks that he's expecting 15. If he's going to be a head coach, he's expecting $15 million. But I think that report doesn't come out if you don't feel confident that you're at the top of the head coaching. I think Schefter said there's about to be 9 openings, 7 to 9 or something like that. Bro, He's going to have a bidding war. So makes sense.
Damn. No, I mean, that's impressive. I mean, he wants to get paid like damn near top edge rusher or, mediocre quarterback.
He wants Jalen Johnson. That's what he's trying to get to 15 to 20 million. But, hey, look, I'm not mad about it. Go get paid. Go get paid.
Absolutely. Anyways, though, I really like the idea of bringing in a new OC for Justin, but I also wouldn't be, I guess, upset or pissed off if the, what does Wikipedia say for Luke Getsy? The father of the screen pass?
Screen passes? Yeah.
Yeah. If the father of the screen pass came back next year just for consistency's sake, maybe that's okay. And if he's really if he's really bad, you could just fire him. And I know that's probably terrible, thinking and logic too. But I just hate that Justin would have another OC. I really do.
Here's the thing, though. If you get Caleb Williams, right, if you go that route, you can then exhaust yourself of that decision because everything's new.
Yeah, no, you're right.
You don't need consistency, or you do keep. Because here's another thing. I can't remember who talked about this, but they said, is the issue that Luke Getsy isn't a good play caller, or is the issue that Luke Getsy doesn't call the right plays for the quarterback that he has? So if you get more of a pocket quarterback with Caleb Williams, does Luke Getsy's play calls start to flourish a little bit more? I have no idea, but it's just kind of to think devil's advocate. to see, like, does it matter? Is it more on Getsy, or is it more on the relationship with Getsy and his quarterback and his skill set? I don't know. So,
yeah. No, I agree. It's an interesting conversation, but moving on to another graphic that I think is interesting to talk about. It's the QB situation rankings. This was by Pro Football Impact. Basically, which teams are best equipped for quarterback success. Play calling is a very big component in here. Weapons as well, and then the offensive line. So you have right now the bottom part of the league. It goes the New Orleans Saints, Arizona Cardinals, who are playing, actually are better equipped for a quarterback, which is Kyler Murray. And then the Bears are at 27th, followed by the Patriots, Giants, Panthers, Steelers, Jets. But to go over some of the positions here, this is what I find very interesting. So O-line is actually 24th in the NFL. And again, there was a comment here. I think the starting unit has only played 3 consecutive games together. So consistency and then also staying healthy plays a big part. I think the Bears have a very good offense, a good offensive line, and it's going to get better because they are young. Kevin Jenkins, Darnell Wright, Braxton Jones. You get a little bit more depth. You get a better center. I think we're fine there. Weapons, they're 20th in the NFL, which I find, like I said, if Darnell Mooney didn't take such a regret, if he didn't regress so much, you're probably
at 800. If he had 800 yards right now, which is not even his best season, we'd be top 15.
Exactly. And that would unlock Kmet even more. And so then you have maybe less targets, but at the end of the day, you're probably in that 15, 14, 13 range if Mooney didn't take such a huge step back, right? Yeah. Now they're going to get better because you bring in Marvin Harrison Jr., right? You bring in Malik Neighbors. You bring in somebody, offensive weapons, free agency, draft, whatever route they go, that they should get better as far as weapons. But it's play calling right here. They are 32nd in the NFL, man. Last.
Yeah. And so basically what you take away from these two graphs, right? Because again, data is data, it can be manipulated in all different types of ways. But the point is that I think as a whole, there's an understanding that the play calling has been very, very bad. Whether it's 32nd or 27th, right? Like, it's not good, right? And I think that's why it's also hard to gauge Fields, because he already has his flaws, but it's like, not only does he have his flaws, he's also not put in a position with someone who says, hey, let me use your strengths instead, right? Instead of calling all these damn screens. So, yeah, obviously, first question, what do we do with quarterback? Second question, what do we do with head coach, offensive coordinator? I'm telling you, bro, and you can see both sides. This offseason is going to be
fun.
A wild one.
It's going to be fun. I would rather not be, we talked about Carolina. We've had Matt on of the Stay Hot. He was a co-host of the Stay Hot podcast, and he talked about how he was like almost pissed off that we felt a little bad. He was like, no, the Panthers we are in a terrible spot. And I totally agree. I think either way, this is how I would have it. I'd rather have it this way than not have a, hope and draft capital. And
at least there's some excitement on the other side. So I'm not mad about that. So we do have one. Wait, before we go to this, let me give this has been sitting here for a minute. Scott C from Iowa said new face gang. So thank you, Scott C, for joining on Twitter. We appreciate that.
Appreciate it, Scott.
And then answering 2 questions because they're real quick. Is there still talk about the Bears moving from Chicago? Absolutely. That conversation has not gone away. That's from UNTD on YouTube. Appreciate that. But yeah, they purchased Arlington Heights. They'll most likely move there, but those conversations have not stopped with Kevin Warren. And then Ralph V. Yeah, and they won't. Ralph V, what if Tomlin is fired and hired as head coach with Bears? I'd be ecstatic. Sorry there. Thumbs
You're
up.
Crying. You're so excited.
Right? Thumbs up there. Like, that would be a great hiring. I would not. You can't be upset about that. So, but yeah, I knew those would be quick. So I just wanted to share those before we go to this.
Okay. Yeah, we're gonna get to this Micah Parsons. Another premier, or not premier. Another. Oh yeah, he's a premier player, but another player, another NFL athlete is coming to the defense of Justin Fields, and it's not his teammate this time. So, we get that quote, we get that question. What else is he supposed to say? He had no reason to say this. So I'm going to play the clip. we'll go ahead and talk about it, and then we're going to go ahead and get to our bold predictions and talk about the Cardinals-Bears game, I guess, if we want to.
We have to, right?
But Bears, and this is Micah Parsons. Obviously, you know who he plays for, Cowboys. This is what he had to say about Justin Fields and the Bears and the direction they might be going.
Bears is really going to be a very good team, a legitimate playoff team next year. They can win out in the NFC North. I mean, I think this team can legitimately be a top playoff team as of next year with Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields is coming along a lot of way. They'll be transitioning, especially going into next year with the draft cap they have and getting more players, and they still have a lot of money in free agency. They're going to keep adding talent, keep getting better, and they're going to be a legitimate playoff team, especially once they learn how to finish games off. Bears is
man, to be
last
honest,
part.
spot on. All that we've talked about all year, bro. We have free agency money. We have draft capital. They're going to get better. Fields has been improving. So that what Micah Parsons said is literally the argument for keep Fields. All of that makes sense. But he didn't mention that we had the number 1 draft pick, and that is quite an alluring decision to go with your guy. But yeah, I mean, if you keep Fields, that is the envision, right? That is the goal. The goal is that every year he's improved, right? So he would make another step, right? If we went from 3 wins to 7 wins, the expectation is we could get 8, 9, 10, maybe, depending on what the big jump is. But but the risk is, you know, because it doesn't always work like this in the NFL. You know, you talk about graphs, right? That's saying like every year Fields goes up like this. Well, that everyone's growth doesn't work like that. Sometimes you go up and you go down, then maybe you go up again. So we don't know. But yes, I agree with Micah on all of that. I think that's why hearing that stuff is what makes you still stay in the camp of let's build around Fields.
Yeah.
But I don't make that decision. So
shout out to Micah though. Really cool.
Yeah.
Cool podcast he does as well. Or like Twitch stream. I'm not exactly sure. Either way he does. It's cool to see. I really like that players are having tons. Just, you know, like instead of mainstream media, just being able
and
to
not just the NFL,
share their own voice. No,
the
NBA is
doing
great
it
at
a lot.
it. First of all, one of my favorite podcasts, The Old Man and the Three. I don't know if you watched that with JJ Redick.
Yeah, with JJ. Yeah, that one's great.
Yeah, dude, so good. But there was one with Austin Reeves, Lakers player, that came out today. I was listening to it. It was very good. Just
JJ's pod's great.
Oh yeah, they're amazing. Anyways, Bears Cardinals.
Before we go to that, we do have a super chat from our boy Tito. Tito with the $5 super chat said Poles is going to be a smart GM and load up for the future and give this team talent. There'll be plenty more generational in the future. I hope you're right, Tito, and thank you again for the super chat. And always drop in just like knowledge bombs in this motherfucker.
Tito's he's like calm as hell. He's just like, hey, don't even worry about it. Poles going to trade
Poles got it. Hey, that's what I'm here for.
I agree, man. That's where I'm leaning to. But shout out to Tito. I appreciate it. Before we hop into our bold predictions, we're going to go ahead and go over the injury report too. But if you're enjoying the show, whether it's on Twitter, whatever platform it is, if you can go ahead and hop over to YouTube, and if you're enjoying the content, maybe hit subscribe, hit the like button at the very least. It really does help. It's a great way to support the pod. We appreciate it. We're on the road to 3,000 subs. We're getting there, getting close. Hopefully be there by the end of the season. We'll do a giveaway or something like that. But shout out to the love. Apple, Spotify, if you're listening there, great. But if you want to hop over to YouTube as well, show some love. Vice versa, if you're on YouTube, maybe go rate the pod on Apple or Spotify. It really does. It goes a long way. I know it sounds so simple, but it really is. It's the best way to support the pod. So appreciate the love. Bears versus Cardinals, battle of, I don't even say mid, but below mid.
Yeah.
Just anyways, Bears are, pretty healthy for the most part, but we have a couple DNPs. Some guys we might be a little worried about. Deontay Foreman, he's a personal. He did not practice today for a personal reason. Travis Homer, hamstring, limited. Tevin Jenkins, concussion. He's likely not going to play. He is another DNP, which I know it's concussion, and that's I don't like that either. But it's like I thought he was really hurt, leg,
like back,
because I thought it was his leg the way he went out. But I guess.
But he did. It was almost like non-contact issue. Like it wasn't heavy.
It was
contact.
scary.
So that's when the announcers were like, "What happened?" But concussion makes sense.
But
yeah, he'll be out for 2 weeks at least. He's missing 2 games, is my guess.
Jalen Jones, limited. Cole Kmet, or Jalen Jones limited with a calf. Cole Kmet quad, he was limited. He'll play, no doubt.
Yeah.
Mercedes Lewis with he did not practice with the rest. Old.
Yeah. He'll play.
And then Darnell Mooney with an illness. He was a full practice, but he did not practice on Wednesday because of that illness. But he'll be back to give us those 7-10 yards. And then Noah Sewell, knee, did not practice. Equanimeous St. Brown, pectoral. He did not practice. He's been out for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
And I think the Bears actually do miss him. That's like a very underrated guy to have out for.
I think he'll be back. I think he'll be back next year.
You think so? Oh, yeah. I would love to see him back. DeMarcus Walker, full. He was a shin. He should be fine, barring any other setbacks. But the Cardinals, I think are actually pretty healthy. I could not locate their injury report, but I believe, first of all, the roster is not that good. I talked about it. They have the 32nd worst ranked defense. As far as offense go, to kind of give you a little bit of, let's see here, insight on where they are. They're actually 27th in the NFL, according to PFF. So again, bottom of the league in both defense and offense. No doubt the Bears should be a get right game for Justin Fields. And then as far as the favorites, the Bears are actually favorites, 4.5-point favorites against the Cardinals. This one is actually, it's at home, but is at the 3:25 kickoff slot on Christmas Eve. So, Ficky, first of all, how do you feel about that? Christmas Eve, 3:25. Do you prefer it to be?
Yuck. I was hoping it was a noon. I'm hoping it was noon, bro. That's fine.
Oh, no, we get to talk about the Bears at, 6 p.m.?
No,
because we will be going live.
Yes,
we will be going live right after the game, and we'll be talking about whatever has transpired, hopefully good stuff. And it'll be New Year's Eve, and you'll get to spend some time
Santa's coming early. Santa's coming early that day. Yeah, we're going to – hopefully the win is the present under the tree, right? Because, I mean, goodness, if we lose to this team, bro, I am like –
But again, Ficky, if they lose, I just went through a bunch of things. If they lose, that's kind of good too.
It is, but it isn't. Well, it depends. It depends on what camp. If we lose, I think it's like Fields is gone.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, I just feel like I'm too emotional. I'm like, if he loses, but no, you're not one game. And you've talked about the decision already being made. And I've been almost like, that might be true right now, just because we don't know, but this decision very could well be, okay, we're moving on. Okay. No, we're going to do this thing right. Or not that drafting Caleb Williams is wrong, but we're going to do what we said, which is build through the draft. And what better way to do that than to trade this number one pick, even though we're not 100% Fields is, top 10 quarterback. But I think, we believe he can be top 15 with the right surroundings, both coaching and then obviously talent. So, but that's a tough start, but the Bears are favored, which is like the second or third time this year. As far as bold predictions, we'll get to a couple here. If you have any in the chat, go ahead and drop them. We'll go ahead and share a couple. But Ficky, I'll let you start.
Yeah, let me give, before I go to bold predictions, let me kind of give a synopsis of what this Cardinals team is. Just so you kind of have like a little bit of understanding. Kyler Murray hasn't been that great from coming back, right? He had 2 interceptions last week. That offense, I think yards per like attempt or whatever is like 6 yards for him. So they don't do a lot of big plays. The offense isn't that great. He hasn't been playing amazing. I'll say that. Of course, he just came from an ACL injury. So, benefit of the doubt. Hats off for coming back. So that's that on the offensive side. That's basically all you need to know. Oh, James Conner's probably like their best player. He had 2 40-yard runs last week.
I have him on fantasy. He has no receptions ever, so he's not a receiving back. But man, he's a bell cow.
Yeah, he's bell cow for sure, and he's always that's kind of how he always been, even when he was in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
But so we just need to stop him. But luckily, our run defense has been pretty significant most season, except against the Lions. But their running back and their offensive line's amazing. And then on the defensive side, like Dave said, they're trash. They're 31st when it comes to pass defense and 32nd in overall defense. It's garbage. That's it. The offense is whatever. They can run.
I like Kyler Murray.
Like the worst.
And they actually said that.
But their defense is garbage.
I think I was watching Hogan Johns, or no, I think it was actually CHGO, and they actually had the Phoenix location on or something like that. And a lot of them were talking about we're gonna keep Kyler Murray. Even instead of drafting Caleb Williams. It's similar. It's a very similar combo. Maybe I think the Bears are better equipped right now in a better spot than Arizona, but it's like Arizona, or I'm sorry, Kyler Murray.
Kyler already got paid though, right?
He did, yeah. So moving that might be an issue, but anyways, Kyler, you could say that he's been productive. His first 3 years or something like that have been really, really good, better than Fields. So you can argue, obviously maybe Murray is the better quarterback here, but I'll let you finish. Is that everything?
No, that's it. It's offense is okay. It's like this is why it's a bottom 5 team, right? Let's be real. And the defense is just garbage. There isn't anything where I'm concerned about matchups or anything like that. So
Kyler Murray or Justin Fields before we get to our bold predictions. I forgot about that.
Fields. Just because he hasn't been paid yet, and you can get off him easier. That's it. So
Murray's 26.
Yeah, Fields is 23, 24, I think.
24.
Yeah. So he already got paid.
5'10", dude.
Tiny.
Isn't that Bryce Young? Or Bryce Young?
Kyler Murray is technically taller than Bryce Young. That's why the talk was crazy, because they were saying
the fact that Kyler does some of these things in the league at 5'10", I feel like that's just so impressive.
Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, he's
I think I'm going Justin too, but I can see the argument to maybe go Kyler. But there's a lot you can go into as far as contract, height, all that, whatever. Man, bold predictions, Ficky. I'm going to let you go first.
I actually think Fields gets 300 yards just because this is the worst defense.
Total or passing?
No, I'm going passing. I think I think he bounces back because he had a bad performance. He normally doesn't have bad back-to-back games. He doesn't have bad back-to-back practices. I don't see why he wouldn't try to go. This is his best opportunity to go crazy. If you can't get 300 yards passing against the worst passing defense and the worst defense and a top 5 team, come on. You got to do it here. The cards are in your favor. I was going to do my actual bold prediction. You took it, but I was actually doing 250 passing because I was like, I feel like 300 was too almost unrealistic, which is a little sad. But if he can do, I think he can. I agree with you. This is the factors are there. I don't know what the weather's gonna be like at 325 in Chicago. It's like 50-ish degrees. Yeah, as long as there's no rain, I think he could definitely. He should. Yeah, it's supposed to be. If Joe Flacco can 370 last week, almost 347 or something, it was crazy amount of money. So please, Justin, get to 300. My bold prediction is actually going to stick with Justin. I had a backup plan just in case you took it. But 3 total touchdowns. I don't know if that's bold, but I feel like that would be good. So 3 total touchdowns for Justin Fields. I'm going to go 2 through the air and 1 on the ground. And you know what? Okay. I'm going to preface this. I'm a little pissed off that we are 3 games left in the season and we have not seen Justin have one big run. I don't know if we got spoiled last year, and I think we're going to look back at his, sophomore tape in the NFL and be like, those runs are going to be they're just incredible. And maybe we took them for granted, and I was like, I thought a lot more. Well, they schemed against it now. That happened to Lamar too. But it's just so sad, man. That was such. We will look back at that year. Those highlights are going to be like, holy shit. Dave, you wouldn't care though if he was doing it with his arm though. If this year he was doing arm plays, but there was something electric about him breaking a 50-yard touchdown run. It was just it was something we'd never seen before. So I'm really disappointed that we have not seen that. Well, that's why you have YouTube for. Go ahead and look at those highlights and soak in it, because I don't know if we're getting any this year. Well, I got maybe hold on. Maybe this will be the maybe this is the game he does it, because again, this is the worst defense in the league. So yeah, hopefully he can do that. Okay, speaking of defense, I'm gonna go with my second bold prediction, and that is, and actually I got this bold. Well, I got the defensive bold prediction got correct last week with Sweat with 3 sacks. I actually am going to go, and it may not be that bold because this defense has been balling when it comes to this, but takeaways. I'm going 2 interceptions on defense. Someone's getting them. If you want me to guess, I'm going to go Jalen Johnson and TJ Edwards. That's who I'm going. I'm going JJ and TJ. Those are the 2 INTs. So let me look at. I'm curious to see Kyler Murray's stats this year. Has he threw 2 last week? A lot? He threw 2 last week. 2 INTs last week. He hasn't played a lot, right? He missed a lot of the season. He's only played 4 games. Maybe, does that sound right?
No, he's played in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 games. So in 5 games, he's 4 touchdown, 4 interceptions. Yeah, and then 1,070. Yeah, so 4 interceptions in 5 games. That would be. I mean, the way this defense is playing, I think that's fair. I would almost go 3. That was bold because 2 is like.
Well, he just had 2
your
last
bold
week.
prediction. If you want to be soft like
2.
that.
Oh, relax. It's like a man who went 250 passing yards. You know, fuck it. I will say this. How about this? This? I'll say this. 2 interceptions, 1 forced fumble from like a sack, like a sweat forced fumble. So I'll say 3 takeaways, but 2 interceptions.
Okay.
That's what I'm gonna do.
I like that.
I'll up the ante.
My bold prediction here is the Bears running game gets going. I think I talked about it last week. I don't know. It's almost, you can almost, I feel like there's been regression in the run game. Because I feel like Justin is still getting some of his yards, and there's been regression with him. We even talked about it just because of the scheme with other defenses. They're not allowing him to break for big runs, and like I said, it sucks to see. But Herbert, who he hasn't looked himself, especially after the injury. Deontay Foreman, who might not even play. So I feel like the run game has been a little disappointing, except for that stretch with maybe Foreman. But I'm going to go. The Bears are going to get 120 plus rushing yards altogether, and that includes Fields. I think they're just due for a good running game. And I really want to see an emphasis. Like, I don't want Fields to get like 70 of those rushing yards. I would prefer like the running backs, meaning the run game, was able to get going and maybe stay for a little bit, not just be like, for a drive or two, but maintain it throughout the entirety of the game, which would help in the fourth quarter. So for me, I'm going to go 125 plus rushing yards just altogether throughout the running backs and, of course, Justin. So we'll see. I think that, yeah.
Bold prediction, we win. How about that?
He took my.
What do you want to go to predictions though?
Yeah.
I don't really have another bold one.
This game is. We're gonna watch it. This is bold.
Yeah.
That's bold. No,
we'll get to. I'm gonna watch the whole game.
Yeah. Well, let's get to our.
I'm sorry to the people that are still here. It's just not that exciting as a game anymore, especially after the dud we had last.
But you get me wrong though. Once Sunday comes around, Christmas Eve, and I get to watch the Bears. I'm fucking.
We'll be hyped on Sunday.
Yeah,
don't get me
wrong.
But
I agree. Talking about it on a Thursday.
I guess it's you asked this way back in the beginning. Like, how do you feel how do you feel about the game? I guess I'm still a little butthurt because I'm not super
I enjoy talking with you guys, answering questions, talking about hypotheticals than I do about the Bears versus Cardinals on 3 days until the game. But either way, I am excited. But as far as predictions go, Ficky, do you want to start? Or do you want me?
I can go ahead, but before we do that, Tito's back in again with the super chat with the $2. We appreciate it, Tito. You're the OG for that. He said, bold prediction, Getsy actually adjusts. You know what? That's a great point because I'll say one thing that Getsy's great at is his first drives. Even last season, on the first drive, we were third in scoring. So that means the first drive that we had the ball, we would basically score 7 almost every time. If not 7, we would get 3. But his issue is he's horrible at adjustments, right? So Tito's saying that, hey, I think he actually adjusts this game, and hopefully we see that. He has adjusted in some games.
Appreciate it, Tito.
More than not, he hasn't. So, okay. Gonna go with the predictions. I don't think this is a surprise. I do think the Bears win. I don't think we're going to have any issues. I think our defense holds up pretty well. They've been playing well. I think they'll continue to do that. And I think the offense comes around. So I'm actually going to go 35-10. I think it's they do well. They blow it out. It's at home. It's on Christmas. I think they just get things done. I think they can do it.
Repeat that for me.
With the Bears 35, Arizona 10. Clip that. That's right. Clip that.
You clip it. You clip it and you post it on because I want to see. Anyways, wow, 35 points. Defense holding pen. The fact that the Bears rarely get. We've talked about it. The defense plays well. The offense doesn't. Offense plays well as the defense doesn't, or at least maybe doesn't close it out. We've seen it so many times. For me, that's a crazy prediction, but I love it. But I'm going to go a little bit more, down to earth. I'm going to go 24-20 Bears. I think this one's a little bit closer.
Of course.
I don't know why, but it's the Bears. I think it's going to be fun. I think they're going to win the turnover battle, but somehow this game's still going to be close. But I think this is a win. I would love a statement game. I would love 35-10, 35-14, 35-3. Because I guarantee you, if we put up 35, and Justin has like 4 touchdown, game, I guarantee you the morale will be back. I just feel like, how Chicago is. And the NFL is just a week-to-week league. So like last week, I told you how disappointed I was with just the loss and the way how expectations weren't met as far as like what I had for Justin. I know it was a tough defense, but I just expected him to kind of have it was an opportunity for him to really, put a stamp on the season. And then obviously you stay in the hunt if you win. And here we are, against Arizona, where you can still, there's some meaning to these games. You're not eliminated. You have like a 3% chance or something like that. So anyways.
Yep. That's it. No, I agree. 24-20, that probably sounds a little bit more realistic. I think I just need a statement game. Justin Fields is going to shut people up and then start the conversations even more.
What if he went off? What if he went off like you said, if he does Arizona, then you go to the Atlanta. What if he has back-to-back like 3 to 4 plus touchdown games, right? No turnovers, what you expect him to do against these two teams. Sure, you can, check it off to bad defense, but then you go into Lambeau, week 18. Maybe the Packers are playing for something. We don't know. Maybe we're playing for something. We don't know. Either way, you finish off the season on a 3-game win streak. You beat Green Bay and Lambeau, and you end up with maybe 10, 11 touchdowns in the last 3 games.
That's how you keep your job.
That's how you keep the pressure. That's how you put the pressure back on.
Or you raise your stock. So either way,
you do one last favor for polls.
Yeah, look. Either way, that helps us out. So it'll be exciting. No. I think we get a dub here. If we don't, wow, I don't know what happens. I hope that doesn't. But I think it'll be a dominant win. And it feels like a Panthers versus Panthers, and we won that pretty easily, even without Fields. Excuse me. So I'm feeling the same with this Cardinals game. All right.
Well, hey, we're going to go ahead and end the show here about an hour and a half, just a little bit 3 minutes before we had an hour and a half here talking with you guys. We appreciate all the questions. If we didn't get to it, sorry, but we will try to get to them, again on Sunday after the game. You guys can check it out on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get it. Again, this show is presented by Sports Mockery. You can check out all my work over there, cover the Bears for Sports Mockery. You can follow me on Twitter at Dave_BFR. Follow Ficky, it's Ficky Baby on all socials. And then the BFR_pod is growing both on TikTok, Instagram, of course, Twitter. Check it out. Give it a follow. If you enjoyed this show, leave a like, sub to the YouTube. If you're on Apple, Spotify, rate the pod. Vice versa. If you're on Apple, Spotify, and you want to check out our YouTube, support there. We appreciate it. We're almost at 3,000 subs on YouTube. It's been growing. It's been fun. The community is building, as you can see. It's been, like I said, we appreciate it. And we are excited for Sunday no matter what. And we'll be back then. But Ficky, you have anything else, man, before we go?
Nah, man. Let's get a W. I'm ready.
All right, man. All right, we'll see you guys Sunday.
All right, peace.